Hey, what's up? What's going on? This is AJ coming through, back with Crazy Conscious. And I'm here today because I want to talk a little bit about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind, and a little bit of just on how it works and what people we need to do so in that way you can kind of be able to understand the relationship between the two, because really what it really is it is all one mind that is representing itself in a dual form. So it's all the same thing, but there are different layers, for lack of a better word, to it. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be talking about a little bit today. But before I really get too deep into that, it's kind of relating to what I'm talking about. But a lot of people, and I hear a lot of people say this, new year, new me, you know. So people think that a number is what's going to change their mentality, you know, based off of something that your mind has already been conditioned to do for a very long time. And a lot of us don't realize it. Now, before I say anything else, I myself I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm speaking, and when I'm, talking about different things, I'm not really just speaking just to the people. I'm actually speaking to myself as well, to help remind myself, about certain things. So in that way, maybe I can go back on my own videos and watch it, be like, oh, dang, yeah, my mind had been kind of, you know. So, but I'm here to help you. I'm here to help myself. That's what it's all about. But anyway, when I hear people say that, and the thing that I have an issue with that is this, you know, what have you changed about yourself mentally? Because it's all mind, it's all in the mind. It has nothing to do with how many people you're not going to fuck with anymore, or how you're so done and over with everyone who was in 2015. The same people who were in 2015 are the same people who are in 2016, regardless as to what you do or how many times you say you ain't fucking with no one. They're still there. So the real thing we need to address is how we perceive our thoughts, and we also have to realize, are we really, thinking our thoughts, or are our thoughts thinking us? You got to really, really think about that, and I don't think a lot of people really pay close attention to how the mind, the relationship of how the two work. We tend to think on a very, we tend to think from the ego, from your conscious mind, which is the ego, which, now when I'm talking about the ego, I'm not necessarily talking about the ego as in an arrogant bastard or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. The ego is something that you are born with into this world. The ego is like your survival mechanism. It has to find a reason why it needs to live here on this planet. So the ego is consisting of things like, I have to eat, I have to have some pussy, I have to be able to make money, I have to be able to do this, I have to be able to do that. That is the ego. If someone, tried to hurt one of your family members, your sister, your mom, or anyone, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to fuck them up. You're not going to sit there and think about, okay, now let me see. When this person attacked my mom or my sister, how did it at that instant make me feel? And if it made me feel that way, why did... No, you ain't going through all of that. You're going to be ready to fuck somebody up. You know what I'm saying? That's the ego. You need the ego if you're living on this planet, But at the same time, the problem is that so many people are ruled by the ego. So many people are ruled by that. which is the conscious mind. See, the conscious mind has to make excuses as to why it needs to exist, if that makes sense. Let me see if I can explain it a little different. Your conscious mind is what keeps you here. Your conscious mind is not something that is actually in your body. Your conscious mind is something that is being projected not from this place. So it's almost as if it's like this video right here. You know, if you click on this video, if you're watching me, I'm not actually sitting inside of YouTube in your TV. You see what I'm saying? I am being projected from someplace else. So I'm not actually there with you. It's the same process as your subconscious mind is. And so when we go about doing things on a conscious level, you know, it tells us all kinds of things. It tells us who we think we are. So we think we're this. Oh, I'm, a bossy bitch, or, I'm that real ass nigga, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It tells you what you think you are. It has to find a reason why it needs to exist on this planet. So it's telling you everything that you think you are, so in that way it can find a reason to exist. If consciously it'll tell you, man, it's been a minute since I hit the gym. It's been a minute since I was in a relationship, whatever. All of these things are your conscious mind. It's been a minute since I had some burritos. It's been a minute since I made money. It's been a minute since I went to the club. It's been, all of these things are your conscious mind trying to give reason for you to exist on this physical plane. Because if you did not have the conscious mind, you know what I'm saying, you don't really exist, if that makes sense to you. If on this planet, you don't exist if you do not have your conscious mind on this planet, And so your subconscious mind is the real you. It's who you really are. You know what I'm saying? Some people call it the higher self. Some people call it the God in you. There's many different names that people call it, but it's the real you. The subconscious mind is the one that's been programmed. It is the computer, it is the supercomputer behind the computer, if that makes sense. So, in other words, I put it to you like this. Every time when you're watching TV, when you're sitting back, when you're watching TV, at that moment while you're watching, your conscious mind, you're not thinking about, this and that and that and that, for the most part. And, some people, their mind always thinking everywhere. But for the most part, when you're watching TV, you're not thinking about anything special. That's when your subconscious mind comes to the forefront. And so whatever is projected into your subconscious mind, see, that's where the mind control comes from. That's where the training comes from. It's in the subconscious mind. It ain't the conscious mind. And so, if I'm sitting here, and let's just say, for an example, let's just say you watch Bruce Lee, for an example. And let's just say that you watch Bruce Lee because, you feel like he's a, great martial artist and, whatever. That's what your conscious mind is telling you. But what your subconscious mind really is saying is that I'm watching Bruce Lee because I used to use this as bonding time with my dad before my dad passed away. That's the real reason why you're watching Bruce Lee. But your conscious mind is telling you something entirely different. And so it's being able to understand and learn the difference between what your conscious mind is and your subconscious mind. So I'm going to read a little bit of something here for you right here. So I've said this in the previous video. If you see me kind of going back and forth, that's because I'm reading notes. So The subconscious mind is directly connected to the source and has access to infinite energy and resources to create the images and experiences we call life in this so-called world. And so what that means is this. Our mind, our subconscious mind, it projects the image for us. So in that way, we can experience what it is like being a physical being on this planet. Everything is like a projection, you know, and that's what I'm talking about when I say things about everything that you look at is not real, it's an illusion, because it is. It's not real. Even looking at me, you know, you thinking that this is real, but at the same time, this body, this frame, it's not real, you know. I could burn it up, turn it into ashes, but, you know, my spirit will live on. You know, that energy will live on. That energy move on to another level, you know. So that's how the subconscious mind is, and that's how it works. Now, the conscious mind is pretty much the awareness at the present moment. So whatever it is that you're conscious of at this moment. So it could be something as simple as you breathing. You know, you consciously know that you're breathing. You know that you're sitting on top of, you know, a chair. You know that you're looking at the screen, looking at me. You know, that's what your conscious mind is, you know, aware of. It's aware of your environment. Let's see here. The conscious mind is also the perceiver and is known through the five senses operating in partnership with the brain. The mind, as we know, exists outside of time and space and does not exist within the body of the brain, or the brain, sorry. The conscious mind perceives the images of body and brain that are being projected by the subconscious. Now, once you understand what the subconscious is and you realize that the subconscious mind is really more like tapping into your higher self. So all you really are physically is just a projection of something that is far greater and far higher than what your perceived reality in front of you is, or what you think is reality, which it ain't reality. The subconscious mind consists of accessible information. You can become aware of this information once you direct your attention to it. So a lot of people do it by meditation. You know, when you sit down, you listen to some music, whatever, you know, however you go. When you're playing music, I'm a musician, so I play piano, you know, I sing as well. You know, anytime when I'm singing or when I'm playing, you know, that conscious mind turns off and my subconscious mind comes forth, and that's when all of the information flows through me. And so that's why when you hear people say, if you want answers, seek within, that's what they're really talking about, tapping into the subconscious mind, you know, for answers, because that is what has the information to the universe. You are all one mind. You know what I'm saying? You're all one mind, but you're experiencing it in different layers, you know, and so you got to know how to go back and forth between the two. So the true relationship between the conscious and subconscious mind is a feedback loop. So each point of consciousness in creation sends feedback to the subconscious aspect of the mind in the form of images it perceives and the feelings experienced with each image. The feedback loop of energy and information allows the mind to experience, learn, grow, and to expand. The one mind is but one corner of the triangle of creation, the remaining two corners being body and spirit. Mind, body, and spirit are three aspects of creation, the focal point of which is found in the 0 point of the heart. So therefore, by the time the conscious mind perceives anything, it has already been created and projected. Even thoughts that we believe are creative in nature are in truth an effect of the subconscious mind. And so you got to understand that your subconscious mind is already projecting everything that you're thinking consciously that is coming forth on this physical reality. It's already been done. And so that's why we have to understand the relationship between your conscious and your subconscious mind. That's also how we're able to understand reasons as to why we do certain things. So I'll give you an example. Like me, I used to like to smoke cigarettes. Now, consciously, I could say I smoke cigarettes because it helps me relax. It helps me calm down. You know, I smoke them when there's nothing else for me to do. But subconsciously, the real reason why I'm smoking cigarettes is just because I like to do it and I enjoy smoking cigarettes. You see what I'm saying? And so by me understanding that subconsciously I just like to smoke, that's when I can be able to address the issue as to, okay, this is what I need to do in order to quit, or how to, be able to look at things in a different light, But see, most people, we don't spend time trying to get to know our subconscious mind. We spend time in our conscious mind because what this kind of has to go with the whole creation aspect. I'm not going to really get into far deep into that. I'll get into that in another video. My bad. Sorry about that. If you see kind of like a cut, there was a little bit of disturbances done, and I like to, kind of be in the moment when I'm doing this. But anyway, so I think I was leaving off with talking about the relationship between the subconscious and the conscious mind and all of that kind of stuff, and talking about how it's really all one mind, but it's just different layers or levels to it. And so I was getting ready to kind of dive into a little bit about how it kind of goes with the creation, and I'm gonna get with the creation on another video, but pretty much your conscious mind believes that it is separate from your subconscious mind. That's actually the reason why we are even here, existing on this plane, on this planet, is because within the mind of the creator, you got to look at it as kind of like a triangle effect. So within the mind of the creator, which is the all, the all, the all, the all. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing, it goes beyond it, And the mind of that, there was consciousness that was developed within the mind of the creator. And then eventually it began to experience itself in individual forms, if that makes sense. Therefore, after a certain amount of time, and like I said, I'll get detailed with this later, after a certain amount of time, it started to believe that it was separate from itself. And so now we have been so used to believing that we are separate from, the all, the creator, or the mind of the creator, that in turn we ended up becoming what we are, which is physical beings, which this is the, I don't want to say the lowest of the low, but I mean, not too many people want to be a human, if you, but that might sound crazy to some people, but I'm talking from a much higher perspective, And so when you're dealing with that, our mind has been so conditioned to be so separate from, ultimately we are all one. You know what I'm saying? That we became, very more materialistic, which deals with where matter came from and atoms, and you know that is leading into something entirely different. But um, so we have to understand that it is all one mind, and that's the reason why we need to understand the relationship between the conscious and subconscious mind. It is all one, but we have to understand where its place is. And so our conscious mind is really just the mind of us thinking of, who we think we are or who we think we're going to be on this physical plane. Because to be, like I said, in this physical plane, you have to have a conscious mind, which in form is the ego. And so, it's going to tell you what you think. Oh man, I need to go out here and make more money. I need some new shoes, dog. Man, I need to go, I need to go club, man. I'm tired of sitting at the house. Man, I need to go and, get some weed. I need to, what I'm saying? Your mind is telling you what you think you need to do, but it's telling your human self what it needs. You see what I'm saying? It's telling your human self what it needs. And so I'll put it like this. If a person asks me, do you want to, what I'm saying? Do you like to drink, for an example? Now, when we're referring to the you, this is not me. This, what you're looking at right now, this is just a shell. This is just a body. That's it. The real me is inside of me, the higher self of me. That's the real me, or the subconscious mind, you could say, is the real me. And so I would say something like, well, you know, if you're talking about the real me, don't need to drink, or I don't need to do this. But my body likes to, you know, and this is what it deals with when we're talking about, when it talks about being born in sin. In the Bible it talks about we're born in sin, and you know, we need Jesus Christ to redeem us and all that kind of stuff. We're not really actually talking about actual Jesus or anything like that at all. It's all metaphorical, it's all metaphysical, it's all astrological. The whole concept of being born in sin is the fact that we are all born with a conscious mind, which is the ego. You see what I'm saying? And so we do things just for the sake of being a human, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how Christian you are. I don't care how holy of the holy you try to act. Y'all motherfuckers gonna get horny. You know what I'm saying? That's just because you're a human. You're going to have those. You might see somebody, and although you might not do it, you might want to beat the fuck out of them. You might look at a motherfucker and be like, God damn, man, they just so fucking irritating. I just want to just punch him. You know what I'm saying? Punch him or whatever. That is still the form of the ego. You know what I'm saying? But that is not you. And so you got to understand who you are. Not what you think you are. But you got to understand the real you inside of you. You got to start tapping into that divine energy. You got to really start tapping into that shit, because see, that is the shit that they do not want you to know. They keep you distracted. You see, so every time you get on the news and when you're hearing about all this stuff about, oh man, such and such got killed, such and such got shot, this happened, that happened, they're killing us, you hear that all the time. Now, I understand that want to have a genuine compassion for it. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you really understand, the occult, science, or wisdom, you also have to understand too, is that they use these tactics to invoke, you see what I'm saying, the emotions out of you. So therefore they feed off of that. The only reason why these motherfuckers exist is because we are still in the process of believing it exists. So if I think that for whatever reason, when I step outside, there is an invisible barrier for me where I cannot get past a certain point, that barrier exists. You see what I'm saying? Because we create our realities as well. You know, if I walk out there and I say, you know what, there is no such thing as no barrier, then guess what? There is no barrier. And I mentioned this on Facebook, and I said the only reason why only 1% of the Western man is in power is just for the simple fact that we still believe it exists, because we still participate in it daily. We go to the jobs. We go to the grocery stores. We go to the beauty supply stores. You see what I'm saying? We pay the bills. We participate in it. Therefore, it exists. When we as a whole, not just me, but as a whole, stop believing in it, it no longer exists. It no longer has power. That's really what we need to be dealing with. All of this thing about, we need to have more economics, and we need to have more black leaders, and we need to have it. That's all well, fine, and dandy. But at the end of the day, that still is participating in his society. And that was the difference between this society and the ancient people that we always praise about, which honestly, they ain't got nothing no different than what we have. The problem is that we sleep because we chose to go to sleep. See, that's another thing. A lot of people don't realize that the reason why we are in the condition that we are in is because we chose to be in this condition. Now, most people will look at it like, what do you mean? The white man been holding us down, and the white man have kept us enslaved. Let me let you in on a little secret. We was fucked up before the white man ever even existed. Let's be real. Let's just be real. I know that you hear, these master teachers talking about how great the Kemites were and how amazing and how such gods they were. But at the same time, they fucked up. Just like we all fuck up at times. They were already falling. Kemet was already in the fall. You see what I'm saying? And so when we really talking about, when we're talking about the white man, what we're actually really talking about is another aspect of ourselves. You see what I'm saying? That manifested due to the result of us dropping the ball. And so when we start waking up, when we start waking up and really seeing what's going on and stop participating, that only then is when everything really begins to fall. Because therefore now they no longer have power. Now, when I say white people, I'm not talking about all white people. Let's just get that clear. I'm not talking about, going outside and you seeing one of your neighbors. No, I'm talking about the white supremacists. That's what I'm talking about. Them people. And so we need to stop participating And that's for anyone. It don't even have to be black. You know what I'm saying? That's for anyone who sees how, things are going. If we stop participating in it, it therefore no longer exists. You know? But like I said, and people, and I'm talking to black people specifically, y'all got to understand this, is that as much as we talk about what they have done and how this has happened to us, we also have to realize too that it is still, now I'm talking on a different level. I'm not speaking from emotions. I'm speaking on a level that's happening on a different aspect of things. So we were already in the fall, when Kemet took place. A lot of people hear about Kemet because Kemet was one of the more recent places to retain a lot of the information. You know what I'm saying? And so there were other people who were doing things prior to this. There was periods where we didn't exist in a physical body, but that's a whole nother thing. So we just got to put all of this into perspective here and just analyze things. And like I said, everything I'm saying, I'm not asking you to believe me. I don't want you to believe me. What the fuck good is that going to do me for you to be like, well, I don't believe or I don't agree with anything that you're saying? I'm not asking you to agree. I'm just asking you to think. I'm just asking you to just look at things from a different light. That's it. That's it. And then if a person chooses to go back to what they were doing, then that's fine. That's their choice. That's the reality that they choose. Because like I said, all reality, everyone has their own reality. So if my reality is I like to play games and I like music and art and all that kind of stuff, and this is what I like to have. I like to have the long hair and the, dreads or whatever. That is my reality. Someone else could say, well, you know what? I don't care what none of y'all motherfuckers say. I'm going to church on Sunday. And they got their little haircuts and they got on their little suits and their ties tied all the way up to their neck to the point to where they can no longer breathe, and tight ass pants and shoes that hurt like hell, and they going up in there and they jumping up and down and doing the whipping it and the nay and all that kind of shit. But that's their reality, regardless of whether it's as a whole real or not. That is their reality. If that's what they want, so be it. I'm not here to convince. I'm not here to convert. That is not the purpose. And I am not involved in any communities. I'm not in no conscious community. I'm not in no RGB. I'm not in none of that. I stand by myself. And so, when it comes to that, we got to understand that what we may see, everyone is not going to see that. It could be two girls, right? Or it could let's just say it's just one girl, right? One girl, two dudes. One dude look at her and he's like, damn, she fine as fuck. Another dude can look at her and be like, man, she ugly as hell. She too skinny for me. You got to understand about reality. You see what I'm saying? It's all about the reality. That's what it really boils down to. And so once that person creates that reality for themselves, there ain't nothing you can do to change that. The only person who can do that is them. They got to go in themselves and change that. So if they want to still jump up and down, that is fine. Let them have it. Tell them to go at it harder. You're not going to change their reality. That is what they believe in. But me, I have a different reality because I know that this is not reality. I know that this is not real. I know none of this is real. I know that. You see what I'm saying? I know that there is a much higher level to me. And I know that what you're seeing now is just a projected form of what I am. It is one aspect of what I might be, but it is not who I am. I know that. And a lot of people need to learn that for themselves too. So after all of this talking, I am going to end this video. But I hope that this kind of shed a little bit of light on certain things, you know. And like I said, if you have any questions, I can include my email in the bottom. Um, this probably will be my last video for this week, at least, because like I said, I did promise I was going to make a video every week, but I ended up making 2 just to catch up. So, you know, yeah, I hope, you know, if you come on my page, you know, or video, and, you know, you like what you see, just like, comment, subscribe. I, you know, have no problem with it. It's all love here. It's all about sharing knowledge, you know, and me, maybe y'all learning a little something from me, and me learning something from you guys, most importantly. It's all about sharing knowledge. I'm not here to debate. That's not my job. I don't have time to debate anyone. I'm not here to go back and forth about history. I don't want to say that I don't give a damn about history, you know, because history is important on the physical world. But we need to really understand more of the mystery. And I think that's what a lot of people are not really talking about. We're so caught up with worrying about what we need to do, you know, physically. We need more black police officers. We need more black lawyers, more black judges. We need more black businesses. And that's all well and good on a physical level. In third dimensional realm, that's all good and dandy, especially if that's what you're called for. But not everybody is called for that. Everyone has their own purpose. But on a spiritual level, we need to start tapping into the mystery and really understanding. Anywhere you go, you'll see a Masonic lounge somewhere, and you know who be in them lounges. And let's just say they're not in there just drinking tea and playing chess. They're in there studying the mystery, you know, and that is what we need to be doing. We need to really be studying the mystery about what it was that the Kemites, you know, were really, you know, really talking about. What were they really talking about? Were they really concerned about history, or were they really concerned about the mystery? You see what I'm saying? And so those are things that we got to really take a look at and really begin to analyze and understand. So, you know, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. But, yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, send me an email, send me a comment, whatever. And I'll get back with you as soon as possible. All right, y'all take care. Peace.